Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of Smart Outsourcing Talks. And today we are going to talk about the future of advisory. And that's not about more people, it is about better leverage. So, for years, accounting firms have believed that growth comes from adding more people, and more client means more staff, more work means more hiring. But today, the firms have more technology, they have more AI than before, they have access to the global talent, and with the automation and technology, things are just changing very fast. Yet, one challenge refuses to disappear, and that is a capacity. So, maybe the future of advisory isn't about building bigger teams. It is about creating better leverage. And joining me today is someone who has been thinking deeply about how AI can eliminate administrative work and help accountants to focus on what they do the best. And that's advisory. So, welcome, uh, Camden, to this smart outsourcing talks.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah. So before we go ahead, let me just introduce, Camden Bean. He is a co-founder of Ping Assistant, a platform that helping accountant firms to reduce administrative work, uncover client growth opportunities, and create more time, value, and efficiency in the firms. So accounting has always been a part of Camden's journey, and as a son of a CPA, he grew up with a first-hand view of profession and the challenges that firm owners face. He began his career at DV, uh, where he played a key role in building partnership with accounting firms. And before the company was acquired by Bill.com, after that he co-founded a 100 million venture fund focused on investing early stage software companies. But Camden was ultimately drawn back to entrepreneurship, and this time he built Ping Assistant. So he's focused on helping firms capture client intelligence, identity, upsell, cross sell opportunities, reduce administrative burden, uh, and provides greater visibility to the firm owners. What I appreciate about Camden's perspective is that he doesn't see AI as replacing accountants, but he sees it creating leverage, freeing professionals from routine work so that they can spend more time delivering strategic value. Camden, welcome to the Smart Outsourcing Talks. It's great to have you here. And maybe if I've missed something in the intro, you can elaborate on that.
Yeah, no, that was great. Thank you so much. I would say the only thing is I was actually studying accounting in school until I dropped out. So I was an almost accounting grad, and then I dropped out to be full time at Divi and work hard and do stuff there. But no, this is fun. And I mean, you mentioned this, and sometimes I feels a little bit, there's a lot of buzzwords around accounting and about AI, and it's a very buzzy topic. Clearly, every event you go to is about AI. Every webinar is about AI and what it can do and what it can't do. And for us at Ping, we are we're taking the stance of we're plugging in and wanting to, like you mentioned, we want to help the client relationship be the best relationship possible and support in any type of way to removing administrative work and going in and diving deeper into providing a tool to help accountants offer advisory at a level that hasn't been done before. Um, and sorry, I might be getting ahead of ourselves, but we're entering into a space here that any firm can start offering advisory. Some people are worried that the bigger firms are going to take over, and all of a sudden, they're just getting acquiring all these smaller firms. But in reality, it's actually leveling the field so that all either entrepreneurs, small firm owners, medium-sized firm owners, large firm owners can start offering advisory at a pretty in-depth way that has never been possible before. So anyway, sorry, I'm probably going completely off track and derailing us, but I'm excited. It's going to be fun. I talk accounting all day, every day, and excited. Yeah, this is going to be a good time.
Yeah. So you are a dropout accountant, but accounting didn't leave you, right? They are after you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It can't leave me. No, I'm a big fan of accounting. And in another life, I would have probably been in some CAS firm somewhere else, doing some support there. But the tech entrepreneurship life got a hold of me.
Yeah. So, Camden, to begin with, let's start with the capacity. So most firms think that they have a people problem when they think about capacity. And they are constantly hiring, yet they still feel behind. So capacity isn't actually about headcount, right? So as we enter into the new era of AI and technology and stuff like that, okay, so why do firms still struggle with capacity despite hiring more people, deploying more AI, more technology, and I'm
Yeah,
sure you must be having this conversation day in day out with people.
all the time. And so it's interesting. I compare this. So you mentioned I was started a venture fund. I was the young guy on the totem pole, but it was me and two other partners. They were established. They had done, one was a venture partner, one had started a $1 billion company, then little old me. And I got to build this company, this firm. We went and raised a lot of money to go invest in companies. And I say all of this because it taught me something about a lot of people are chasing the biggest number raised. So in venture, in VC, right? When you're building a tech company, a badge, something that you can tell people that you're successful is like, look, I just raised $20 million. That's a big deal. That's really hard. That's not easy to do. Raising $20 million is a lot of money. But the funny thing is that doesn't provide any value. In fact, that's actually just more weight, more concern, like more things to be worried about, more obligation, bigger expectations. It's not the metric that I think. I know it's an easy metric, but it's not a metric that is actually an indicator of success. And to your point, when we go back to the accounting world and we start saying, hey, well, I have so many new employees, like people are like, oh, how big's your firm? Oh, I have 50 employees. I have 100 employees. I have 300 employees. I have 10 employees, whatever the number is. People think that's the metric of success. And it's actually not. Actually, at least for me, it's how much value you're creating for people and how much money are you making, right? Like how much revenue do you drive for your firm, or how much revenue is your firm doing? And now that's a little bit more intimate. So it's maybe you're not asking, how much money do you make? But when I think about capacity and all these things, one of the biggest things I talk to, because I talk to accounting firms all day and I'm the new tech guy, right? I'm selling AI and people are like, oh, another tech tool. Why do I need to do this? Like I don't have time, right? And I step back and I say, okay, first, if you're not using AI yet, you should be clearly. But second, where are you spending your time? Are you spending going and chasing new clients, and you just want a bunch of new clients, and that's why you have no capacity? And it's like, well, if you think about it, one new client and expanding deeper into existing client could be the same revenue, but the capacity is actually substantially different. A whole new relationship that you have to manage and different expectations is 2 times, 3 times the work of just expanding a deeper relationship with an existing client. And so that's what we're doing at Ping, is trying to help you expand your relationships so you don't have to go in and keep hitting all those networking lunches, and you can actually just go deeper with your existing clients. So hopefully that answers your question. I realized a roundabout way to get there.
So how do you look at it? People get confused with being busy and being productive, and you talked about how much value you create. So so where's the catch?
Yeah, I mean, the age-old problem of being busy and being productive. It's really easy to be busy. It's really hard to be productive. I mean, everybody follows it. I mean, I follow it. Building a company from the ground up is hard. It's really, really hard. And it's very easy to fall into this trap of like, oh, I'm being busy. I'm doing things. But when I take a step back, I'm like, I'm not doing the right things. And if you're building your company and you're building your firm and you're stuck in the being busy, it's normal. Like it's super, super normal, because you're just trying to move the mountain. You're just trying to move this ball up the mountain or this rock up the hill. And I think when you take a step back and be, okay, what are revenue generating, right? Because that's what businesses are for. How can I And the beautiful thing about accounting is revenue is very tied to value driving for clients. So if you're like, hey, I just care about servicing my client, well, it's like, guess what? The metric that matters is revenue. How much revenue are you helping are you helping with this client? Not so much that you're squeezing them dry, but that you're creating value where they're like, oh my gosh, I need Stacy. Stacy's amazing. I will pay Stacy whatever number she asks for because I need Stacy to help me. And that's the dance that I think busy and creating value kind of becomes.
Yeah, and when people start accounting firm owners, they always want to get into advisory and stuff like that. But once the thing starts coming in, they get busy with the bookkeeping or maybe taxes and paperwork and administrative and filing and stuff like that. So most of the people start drifting from advisory to this the whole mammoth of administrative work, and the repetitive task comes to them, and then they just forget about the advisory, right? So now, Camden, with the advent of an AI tool, of course, if not AI, there was always people available to do that. Okay, so it's more about a discipline. But now with the advent of AI tools, how do you think the things are going to change for the accounting firm owners?
I mean, it's going to change everything. Clearly, it's changing everything for everybody. Like it's crazy. Like if you don't believe that, you're really missing out. But one of the things I think that's interesting is the core will always be compliance. I have 3 accounting firms I work with. I'm unique because I sell to accounting firms, so I like to have 3 so that I can, talk to them and understand how different processes. But I have a personal accountant, I have a business accountant, and I have an outsourced CFO. Right, so I have 3 different firms that I work with. And when I look at that equation of, and going back to the question, which is, remind me of the question one more time.
Yeah. So basically, what I was saying is how AI is going to change this routine things, with the accounting firm owners are doing.
Great question. So sorry, thank you for getting me back on track. Compliance. I'm going to my personal accountant because I need my taxes filed. Fact, I need them filed, right. And my life is too complicated for TurboTax, and I tried it, and I wanted to break my computer, right? Like I was just like, I'm gonna freak out. So I have a personal accountant. It is on. I hired her because of compliance. Now it's her job to expand our relationship to more than just compliance. Traditionally, she wouldn't have time to figure out more than just compliance work. Her job was to file my tax return. But now you use a tool like Instead or Filed or all these cool or Juno and all these cool new tools that are being created. You don't give her time to file my tax returns like way shorter. And now it's a question of like, okay, what other things can you provide for me? And it's just compliance is still going to be the driving, is going to be the thing that turns the catalyst. But then it's the accountant's job to then take a step back, and hopefully you're using tools that makes the compliance a lot easier, so that you can now be like, well, Camden, you just bought a house and you're looking at buying another house. Like, let's figure out what can we do to make this the most efficient for you. Like, how do you do X, Y, and Z? And that's coming into another level that I'd be willing to pay more money for.
And talk to us a little about coming to how did you get this idea about Ping? So how did you start it?
Yeah, so Ping was a birth child of seeing a lot of really cool tech being built for other industries. I think a lot of times accounting is one of the last industries to get cool technology. And I was seeing.
Why do you say so?
Well, I'd say that 2 reasons. Because accountants are slow traditionally, and accountants are traditionally very cheap. And so it makes it very hard to build technology. I think things are shifting, but traditionally that's the case. Traditionally it's like, whoa, be here for 4 years and then we'll look at buying you. And it's like, okay, well, I can't wait 4 years. I need you to buy my stuff now. And so accountants get stuck in this rut. But for the last 2 years, I think accounting technology has blown up. And so I saw this exciting part of like what was happening in different industries. And I was like, wait a second, accountants have the exact same problem but
Mm.
even more so in different needs. And so I took what I learned from my dad and from Divi and all these other experiences and started Ping.
Mm. Mm. And what exact problem that Ping solves?
Yeah, so Ping for small and the individual like for individual contributors, we're solving administrative work. We're taking notes. We're pushing those action items from the meetings into your task management tool. We're drafting emails for you. We're actually an email assistant. We'll actually go into your Outlook or your Gmail and label each thing respectively. Each email coming in, so you have an email triage. It's really just a virtual assistant for you, right? But as firms get larger, we start helping them find upsell and cross-sell tools and giving the firm leaders visibility into their client relationships. So we can start saying like, hey, client A is really interested in this service that your firm offers that they don't have right now. Like you should offer that to them. That is more value for the client and more revenue for you. So that's where we come in.
Can you give me some use cases which are real life stories, which how Ping has helped to enhance revenue or figure out upscale or upgrade the clients?
Yeah. So here's a great example of scope creep detection. So we have a client, or we have an accounting firm on our platform, and one of their clients was implementing Campfire, right? A new AI ERP. And implementing ERPs is a lot of work, and accountants are a big part of the ERP process. Well, this specific client hired another firm to implement it, right? So here's the equation. We have a client, we have our user, which is an accounting firm, then you have a separate accounting firm. This client is using this accounting firm to implement Campfire. Well, they expected their firm that does their taxes and their books to be on the call, on every call. And one of the managers all of a sudden was looking at because we have, engagement scores, like how much are you talking to this client? And one day it was like this, like way up. And they're like, what the heck? Like, why are we all of a sudden tripling our allotted hours in this week alone? And it just came from like, oh, they expected me on every call. And it was like, oh, that was completely out of scope. That is a revenue, like we should be getting paid for that. That is not a part of our agreement. And so Ping was able to detect that and help the leadership team see that as an opportunity to have a conversation where like, hey, this is out of scope. We expect X, Y, and Z. And it really shifted the whole conversation. So that's a great example of scope creep detection. Something else that we've done and created is if you're working with a client, and let's just say you have 5 services. I realize most firms are going to have more than 5, but for the sake of you have 5 services. And on a meeting with a client that you only have 3 of those services with, they keep bringing up, oh man, I would really I'm terrified. I don't know if I'm going to have enough money to hire a marketer. It's like, okay, well, that's cash flow planning. That's something we offer. That's something that we should be selling to them. And maybe it was the tax person that they had that comment with, and the tax person's busy doing taxes. They don't have time to think about cash flow planning. That's not their job. But it's like, oh no, that the CAS and the bookkeeping team really cares about that. Like, let's get 3, like that's a $10,000 engagement. Yes, we will offer that for you. And we're surfacing that for firms so that that's not getting slipped through the cracks. That's getting captured, and then the upsell opportunities there.
And what are the data sources? So where do you pick this intelligence from?
So yeah, great question. So we're doing from emails, meetings, any client communication, right? Phone calls, in person, Zoom, Teams, all of them. But the other thing is we're now working on GLs and some other cool tools with documents and other things like that.
And that sits on the enterprise platforms. The Ping sits on the enterprise platform. How it operates actually?
Yeah, so Ping think of it as air traffic control, like in an air station. We're getting the information and then pushing that into whatever tool that you're using. The beauty of Ping is that accounting tools are pretty disparate, right? It's like, this is my one tool, this is my other one tool. Ping is going over the top and connecting all of them, and then being able to push information back into the respective tools where they need.
And then you query to the Ping what you need.
Say that one more time.
So do you have to query ping what you need, or it will get an automated report?
Yeah, we'll automate as much as we can. So depending on what you need, we'll capture action items and push those into your task management. We can do that automatically. We'll capture context and push that into your CRM or your practice management. We'll push as much of the context as you want automatically as we can.
Sure. Uh, you started a year back, right? I mean,
Yeah.
How many customers you have?
Yeah, so we have over 200 firms on the platform, and we're growing every day. It's awesome.
Fantastic. Very good. Yeah. Okay. So Camden, where do you see? I mean, I'm sure you must be attending a lot of conferences like me, and off late, I've been seeing like over 50% of the exhibitors are all AI. Whether it is tax papers automation or virtual assistants or automating, filing returns and stuff like that, and probably every other technology who was made prior of AI, they would say, hey, we are AI enabled and stuff like that. Okay, so with so much of a bombarding of AI, and when we actually talk to the accounting firm owners, uh, they have not leveraged so much AI. So, what do you think? What is the runway looks like in terms of implementing AI in the accounting firms?
Yeah, great question. I get exhausted talking about AI. And I'm the one building this stuff. So if you're a firm owner or if you're in accounting and you're like, AI again, realize like I'm tired about it. Yeah, I'm like, oh, there's so much. And I actually think that the real trick is the less they talk about AI and have AI, the more value there is. That's my little like hack. And the reason, because if you have a tool, I won't pick on any legacy tool, but let's just say you have a legacy tool and all of a sudden they start launching quote AI features. Well, they're going to start telling you AI this, AI that. What that means is it's not very good, right? Because it is a bolt-on. They needed to get it done today. It was like, oh, AI, we need to put this in as quickly as possible. Whereas newer tools, they'll say they're AI, but reality, they're just focusing on the value they drive, right? And so when I talk to firms that are wanting to figure out AI, this is self-serving. I know it is, but I'm still going to say it because you asked. Find tools like Ping that are super easy to implement. Ping can get started in 90 seconds. 90 seconds to get started, and you're now having an AI assistant, cool, or a virtual assistant, whatever you want to call it. Now, there's things that we can do, and it takes a little bit more time to deepen that integration and to deepen that into your firm, but just like from 90 seconds, Ping is joining every call and taking notes on every call, and it's drafting emails and labeling your inbox. In 90 seconds, it's like done. Finding ways to get that to start is the best way. Start using Claude, start using ChatGPT, just start playing around with these different tools, because it might feel like you're behind the ball, but everybody and their dog is trying to make you feel like you're behind the ball, right? Because they're usually trying to sell you something about how you can, if you buy this thing, you'll no longer be behind the ball. And the beauty is it's such a quick learning curve. You'll figure it out, and it really is pretty magical.
Yeah. And in fact, in the last conference when I was moderating a panel, and it just keeps coming that somebody asked a question: how many of them you feel that you are behind on AI? And almost everybody raised their hand. And when actually you ask for owners, what have you really implemented? So they've not really implemented beyond the research and communication and stuff like that, right? So everybody is behind, but I wonder who is in the front.
Well, do you know what's so funny? The answer is not many. It's so funny. I was at another conference, and it was this is like a perfect example. It was a panel about AI. Shocker. And in the panel, they're talking about how they should be using AI. And there was a question, and somebody was like, raised their hands like, can you give me, like, I just feel lost. Can you give me an example of how you use AI in your firm? And I kid you not, this was the response. She said, there's too many ways to count. And when you say something like that, it's like, you're just lying. Like you just are making things up. Like you don't use AI. You're just saying that to sound cool. And that's kind of your point. Is like if everybody's behind, who's in the front? And the answer is not many. Like it's so funny.
Yeah. And also, what I feel is that with so much bombarding of AI in every, I mean, we have over 100 accounting firms as our client, our customers, right? And we day in, day out talk to the people. One of the biggest frustration that they have is that, every day we hear about new AI tool coming. Every week I see the new AI tool, and then I wonder what I'll do with that. So they are all pretty much kind of confused, and I'm sure you must be getting the same signals.
I build AI and I'm sometimes confused. Like my job is to be the most cutting edge, the most forward thinking, and it's exhausting. And there's a lot of noise. And this is the age where there's a lot of things that are happening, but the core technology is incredible. We don't need to get, there's thoughts on crypto, and people have a lot of thoughts on crypto, and I have some strong stances on crypto. And I think there's a similar craze of crypto. Crypto then kind of fell out of favor, and it's no longer a part of the ecosystem as much. There's still people who are super into it. This is not the same, right? This is something that there is true value being generated. But to your point, there's so much fluff. And finding tools that are easy to implement and provide immediate value are such a good way to start, because you don't need to go and onboard this crazy tool that's going to take you 6 months. And then if you find out, it's like, oh, actually, this is like marginally better than what I was already doing. Like find things that you can give like the wow factor of like, oh, that is amazing. And that is where you're going to find a lot of really cool stuff.
And Camden, in your experience now with implementation of these AI tools, how do you figure out what is the leverage that you are getting out of this AI? So how do you get an ROI? How do you look at the leverage in the firm?
Yeah, I would say just like any tech or really any conversation. I mean, if you're hiring somebody, it's like, should I hire somebody or should I, use somebody like Finsmart? Like how, like it's the same question. Is like, okay, let's go to the fundamentals. Like, what is the point? Why am I doing this? If I'm just doing this for fun, great. If you enjoy that, awesome. But if you're going back to the fundamentals, like what's the point of this whole thing? It's not to have more employees. It's not to have the coolest AI tools. It's to drive revenue and value for your clients. That's the whole point. And so if you're going through and you're saying, man, I hate email. Email is my least favorite thing. I'm terrible at it. There's so much of it. I hate every second of it. Okay, well, find a tool that will help you manage your email. Ping has an email assistant. There's my shameless plug. But there's a lot of ways to manage your email. Maybe you're like, well, I just need to pass this context to other people. Missive is awesome. That's a great group email management tool. So like when you start thinking about, go just like, what's the thing that sucks about my life? Like, what do you hate when you wake up in the morning? I promise you, somebody is solving the thing that you hate. There's so much money going into accounting right now, accounting tech. There is somebody solving the thing that you hate the most. And find the tool that's out there, right? And just go and explore that. So going back to the fundamentals of like, how do I drive more revenue? How do I drive more value? That's the core of what you should be doing with your decision making.
And Camden, do you think that, say for example, if we implement Ping Assistant, okay, and say my office manager or administrator or maybe my office assistant was doing this work, okay. Now with the implementation of Ping, of course she'll become more productive and stuff like that. But are you able to eliminate that role?
Yeah, great question. I think that role looks different in different places. So some people have an assistant that their whole job is to email people, like manage the inbox, and to make sure that you're aware of who, giving you insights on who people are as you're about to meet with them and all that stuff. The answer is yes. We are eliminating that role. That's also the lowest level role, I think. Now, I think a good assistant is doing a lot more of what you might be looking for, right? And Ping will continue to go up the chain. Like, for example, the other thing we were talking about the other day is giving you a list of all the birthdays of all of your clients. And then every time it's like 3 months out or 3 weeks out from a birthday or 2 weeks out from a birthday, we can actually go in, like, this is things that we brainstorm and think about, Raj, but it's like, hey, like, what if do you want to send them a birthday? Like, do you want to send them a gift? Like, here's 3 gifts that you can send them. Press this button and we'll go do it for you. Like, those are things that we want to go and do and support. But I think it depends on the firm, right? And like, sometimes we can't be in person. I'm not going to be able to welcome anybody. If you're going in and creating a group of people, you have a team that like welcoming people to the front desk and helping take care of the office, I'm not going to be able to do that, or do I want to do that? And so I think it really does make you look at what you're looking for and what you're asking for. And I work with some of your assistants, and they're amazing. And there's a lot of things like, I'm not going to be able to schedule podcasting, right? I'm not going to be able to schedule a lot of things like that yet. And so that's where there's still a lot of value to be created.
So how do you see AI versus humans, or maybe, or what is the relationship that people are going, or the roles are going to have with the AI? Because, what I see is that what I keep, facing this is that AI makes productive, okay, but it doesn't completely eliminate that role, right? So it's like half the way.
Yeah. So great. And I think the role depends, right? And I think compliance will have, at some scale, 80 to 100% automation, right? At some level, like it's going to come down to review, which is a funny new problem to have, because then it's like, great, I'm replacing more of my lowest level workers, and I'm now just having to spend more time on the higher level to actually review the work, which is like a funny dichotomy, which is not economical. When I think about humans and AI, I mean, it really just depends on what you're talking about. I think when I have 3 accounting firms that I work with. I mentioned that earlier. It's not just because I'm like, I sell to accounting firms, and so I should have 3 accounting firms, or I should have an accounting firm, right? It's not like I'm like hiding the fact that I could redo my accounting. And I think I spent probably a couple months really dedicated. I could do some serious damage on automating a lot of the lowest level compliance work. But then I have to maintain that thing. And I'm not interested in that at all. Like, zero. Like, it's not like, to your point, it's not just like, oh, done, it's executing on my behalf. I actually don't want that. I want somebody who's owning the responsibility. I want to say, Kim, you own this. I don't have to think about it. I've completely offloaded it. That is why I'm giving you money, is to offload that from my brain. If I can't offload it, there's no value to me. And so that's where I think a lot, because it's funny. And sorry, I'm rambling. Forgive me, but I talk to a lot of folks, and they'll say it's like, oh, it's the human connection that people want, and I'm like, actually, no, it's not. I actually don't care about the human connection. Me personally, I'm different. But for me, it's not like, oh, I want a human to talk to. That's not what I need. I have a wife. I have a family. I have friends. I don't need more people to talk to. I want somebody who owns it. I want to be able to look them in the eyes and be like, you own this. I don't have to think about this anymore. And I can't do that with AI. And if I have questions, I'm not confident. And so that's where the big gap is. And that's where a human is important. But it's not human connection. It's ownership.
Yeah, it is ownership. Very, very well said. Yeah. And Camden, with all this lower ended work getting automated and stuff like that, so and everybody would now move to a higher value work, as you said, would be advisory. So what does a true advisory first accounting firm looks like, in your opinion?
Good question. What does it look like, in my opinion? An advisory first firm has a upsell, cross-sell motion, has the ability to take somebody who's a bookkeeping client and ramp them up into a full outsourced CFO, like a full package client. That's one. You need that level. You need that ability, because if you don't have that, it doesn't matter how good your team is. You won't have any work to do. No clients are paying you for the work that you can do. That's the first thing. I would say the second thing is having very defined playbooks, right? Like advisory is too ethereal. It's too wow. I can use it's like AI. It's AI. It's advisory. It's like too. What does that even mean? And so distilling it down, it's like, oh, this is a salt practice where we can now offer salt because we're using a tool like Kintsugi, right? Like we can do that now. I'm very like before I couldn't do that. Before I had to have a dedicated staff member. Now I can use Kintsugi and I can offer salt, right? As a part, I can stand up a salt practice. Same with R&D credits, or you start thinking about these other like advice. Like think about specific offerings. Don't advisory is too ethereal. It's too blah. Like refine it. This is the package. I'm selling you this product. Do you want this product? Yes or no? And it has to be very defined. And it's your job as the accountant to define that. Because I, as the client, don't know. I don't know what I don't know, and I don't know what advisory means. I don't know what CAS means. That's a weird word. What does that even mean? And it's like, no, you need to tell me, like, do you want me to offer you spend management? Can I manage your credit card so that you'll never go over budget? You say that? Oh my gosh, yes. I would love, that's a huge stress for me. That is so like off, yep, give it to you, done. So advisory firms have very clear offerings and have ways to upsell and cross-sell to those offerings.
Yeah. So in the advent of this AI, what do you think, like 5 years down the line? Maybe 5 years is too long, maybe 2 or 3 years down the line, how the firm would look like? I mean, AI enabled firm, so.
If you can tell me what 5 years, we can go invest a lot of money together, Maanoj. We can go make some good if you know what it's going to be. I think in whatever time frame, 3 to 5 years, it goes back to ownership. And I do think accountants for some reason have pigeonholed themselves into only being compliance. And this is now the new age where you have to expand, and that's great. And you will now become a consultant. Like there's a world where most accounting firms are offering some type of, auxiliary services. Like, hey, can I help you with, vetting capital investment? Like, let's talk about where you should be investing your money. Not just like a personal level, like wealth management's a whole nother conversation, but I'm talking like as a business, you should be out, you have $300,000 of cash. Let's talk about where you should be putting that money to be making, you have the highest ROI on that money. Is it, Google ads, this, is it that? And that's advisory, clearly. I mean, that's outsourced CFO level work, but the ownership, I think more firms will be able to do more with less, and they will have more ownership over the client relationship. Like I will just want to offload the weight. It's a weight on my shoulders. I want to say, give it to somebody else. That's what I want as a client. And so that's what the accounting world will look like in 3 to 5 years, is accountants will just take more ownership and drive more value. And it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, cool. So I think with that, Camden, we come to the last part of this talk show, is that the rapid fire, okay? So I'm going to ask you 5 questions.
And I'll be quick.
Yeah, you need to be quick. Maybe one word or few words, okay?
Yo.
Okay, here we go, the rapid fire. So one administrative task every firm should automate.
Email management.
Okay. AI in one word.
Awesome.
Okay. Biggest misconception about advisory.
It's too watery. It's too ethereal.
Okay. One habit of high performing accounting firms.
Upsell and cross-sell motions.
Yeah. And one prediction for the profession over the next couple of years.
A lot of money will be invested.
Okay, so I think Camden, it was great talking to you and knowing about the AI. So perhaps the future of advisory isn't about building the larger firms. I think the way we go, it's more about building smarter ones. And the firms that thrive won't simply have more people. They will have to create more leverage with technology, with AI, with global talent, with right systems behind it. And Camden, so this was just a very fantastic, conversations. Thank you for being here with us on Smart Outsourcing Talks, and I'll catch up soon with another conference.
Hey, deal. Well, hey, so thank you so much for having me, and thanks for letting me just talk at you for 40 minutes. But it was a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.